الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الأطيبين الأنجبين بهم نتولى ومن أعدائهم نتبرأ إلى الله اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توغا وتمتعه فيها طويلا اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. We thank Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala for giving us the blessing of life and the tawfiq to talk about His most beloved and His choicest of creation, the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And it is a special tawfiq and an honor that we look into and ponder into the beautiful statements of the Imams alayhimus salam, and in particular this Ziyarat Jame'at Kabeera, which is a complete lesson of Imamat. Marhum Allama Amini, the author of Al-Ghadir, he says that one who understands Ziyarat Jame'at Kabeera has understood and perceived the entire concept of Imamat. Imamat, it's the backbone or the pivot of this creation. When the Prophet ﷺ passed away, Shias were just a few. Now more than 1 billion Shias are there on the surface of this earth. Whence millions have been killed. Taliban in one day killed 20,000. Takfiris, they killed thousands and thousands. Abbasis, they killed many hundred thousands. Saddam killed 1.6 million. And again, we see that day in, day out, every week in Afghanistan and other parts of the world, how Shias, they are being killed. The strength or the backbone of the Shias is this belief system of theirs, and that is the Imamat. Imamat of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam, Imamat of the 12 Imams alayhimus salam, and the support system also that is provided by the Imams alayhimus salam, and in particular to the Mu'mineen, that is also amazing. We have numerous statements, numerous incidents where the A'imma, they served, they helped. For example, you've heard the story of Marhum Sheikh Mufid, that people, they came to him and they said that a lady, she has passed away, she was pregnant, the baby is still alive in the body, and the mother has passed away. What do we do? The burial has to take place. We can't cut open someone who is dead. That is haram. And also, if we were to bury this lady, she facing the Qibla, the baby will be against the Qibla. So what do we do? He says, bury the lady facing the Qibla. Now here, when they come for the burial, and then someone comes and stops them and says that Sheikh has said that you cut open the lady and then bring the baby that is alive out and then bury the lady, the mother. And then after the burial of the mother, and then the child was alive, these people who were in the funeral, they come to Sheikh Mufid and they say that very well in time you sent your envoy and we were able to cut open the mother and bring the baby out, and the baby is alive. He says, I did not send anyone. And then he found out that he had made a mistake in issuing the fatwa, and he closed his doors and says, from this moment I will not issue any fatwa. Imam al-Asr alayhi salam says to him that you do your work and we will help you wherever it is needed, wherever it is required. Now this was then, and even today it's the same. that the inayat and the special bestowals of Ma'sumin alayhimus salam, the Imams alayhimus salam, and upon the Shias, they are immense. Now, when we look back into the history of Rasulullah, no doubt there is no one who served more than the Prophet, someone whose efforts for 23 years in the revelation of Quran and in that very difficult time, very bitter, all those wars, battles, invitations, kuffar, munafiqeen, and the situation of the Middle East at that time, and the Arabia, Rome, etc., it was a very tough situation for Rasulullah. Now, for all his hard work, he needs to be paid. Rasulullah, mercy to the mankind, he says, لا أسألكم عليه أجرا إلا المودة في القربى, that I don't need any reward, but the only thing I would want from you is to love the near ones to me, to love my Ahlul Bayt, مودة ذي القربى. That is, يا قوم لا أسألكم عليه مالا إن أجري إلا على الله. I don't want any funds from you. I don't want any money from you. My reward and my ajr is upon Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Looking in the Holy Quran, prophets Hud, Nuh, Salih, Shu'aib, they say, وَمَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ أَجْرٍ إِنْ أَجْرِيَ إِلَّا عَلَى رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. They said to the people that we don't want any reward. Our reward is upon the Lord of the universe. We do not want any reward from you. Our Lord will pay us. The Prophet, most perfect and the best, the highest in rank, says, I want, and then he says, what I want is for you. وَمَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ وَمَا سَأَلْتُكُم مِّنْ أَجْرٍ فَهُوَ لَكُمْ. Whatever I ask from you is for yourself. Now, what is that Rasulullah wants? It is the love of the Imams and the household, the Ahlul Bayt. And all that love also is going to turn back to yourself. And then when we look back into the statements, like one of them, the famous one of Hazrat Fatima Salamullah alayha to Salman, she says, ينفع حب ابنتي فاطمة في سبعة مواطن. The Prophet, he says that this love that you have towards my daughter Fatima will help you in 7 scary stations. أحوالهن عظيمة. And all of those stations that they are very great, all scary, but you will be helped. How will you be helped? Because of the love that you have towards my daughter, towards my Ahlul Bayt. Dying, pains of death, Malakul Maut, all of them, they will be kind upon you. Amazing statements we have from the Ma'sumin, that here Hazrat Fatima, she says, be gentle upon them. Amirul Mu'mineen is present by someone who is passing away, and all those 100 stops and stations in the hereafter, they say that we will be with you, we will be by you, we will help you, we will save you. مَا أَسْأَلْتُكُم مِّنْ أَجْرٍ وَهُوَ لَكُمْ. That is the ajr, the reward that I want from Allah, that is also for you. So, in one of the other statements that we have, Ibn Abbas, he says, he asks Rasulullah, وَمَنْ قَرَابَتُكَ? That is, these near ones to you, who are they? الَّذِينَ وَجَبْتَ عَلَيْنَا مَوَدَّتَهُمْ, that you have made their love mandatory upon us. Who are they? The Prophet, he replies, قَالَ عَلِيٌّ وَفَاطِمَةٌ وَابْنَهُمَا. Ali and Fatima and their 2 sons. So mawaddat is that excessive love, intense devotion a person has, permanent love towards the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And repeatedly it was mentioned, as the ayah in Quran says, that love has to be in line with obedience to the Ahlul Bayt, obedience to the Imams alayhimus salam. Now, the basic on that what is applicable to you and me, to every one of us, with reference to this mawaddat, is this teaching of Rasulullah says that أَدِّبُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ عَلَى ثَلَاثِ خِصَالٍ. That is, you educate your children with three qualities. حُبُّ نَبِيِّكُمْ, love of your Prophet. حُبُّ أَهْلِ بَيْتِهِ, love of his household. And then وَقِرَاءَةِ الْقُرْآنِ, and the recitation of Quran. So all of these are these beautiful teachings that we have regarding the emphasis and the importance of loving the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, honoring the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, or that hadith that is famous, you have heard a lot, that one of the ashab of Amir al-Mu'mineen on a hot summer day, when everyone is asleep in Kufa at that time, he rushes to the house of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam. His name is Haris. Imam says to Haris, what brings you here? I know on this hot day and at this time when everyone is having a nap, and what brings you to me? He says, nothing. It's only that desire to see you, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. That love that I have to you, all of a sudden I felt that I have to see you now and at this very moment. So I came in this hot sun just to see you. Imam in reply says, Ya Harith, man yamut yarani. That is, this love that you have will bail you out, will save you. And Harith, every person who dies will see me. May he be a mu'min, may he be a munafiq. Mu'mineen, when they see me, they will be happy that what was said to us was all true. Munafiqeen, when they see me, they will be sad that we wish we were with Abu Turab, we wish we were with Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali alayhi salam. He says that what brought you here to me? Haris says, Hubban lak. Just because I love you, just that love dragged me to you, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. So approaching the Ahlul Bayt is good, and at times not for our needs, just for that love that we have towards them. Now the topic that we have, it is Ziyarat Jame'at Kabeera. Ziyarat means to visit, and then the person who is visiting is called Az-Za'ir. He who is being visited is called Mazur, and the way how you address and you visit them, that is called Ziyarah. And to all of them, this Ziyarat that we pay to the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, may they be alive or even after their shahadat and demise, it carries the same weight. That is, that muhabbat is what has brought us to them, and that muhabbat is what will help us. So address them with love. Like for example, when you go to the sacred shrines of Ma'sumeen, don't need to be very formal, with love, like Aghayama, my master, Amirul Mu'mineen. So they don't need us, we need them. They want us to be obedient, to observe the deen, to be good to family, respecting children. A way to honor the Ahlul Bayt is to be respecting their progeny, the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And another way is to portray the love towards the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. So when you participate in a funeral, you say the family of the deceased that we are also with you in this sorrow of yours. Why? Or in a celebration, a joyous occasion. Why? Being a partner in their joy and in their sorrow is being with them. So we are with the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. In all joys we are with them. In all sorrows we are with them. Whatever is their sorrow is my sorrow. Whatever makes them happy is the means of my joy as well. And that is that statement also we have from Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salam, where he says, Shi'atuna khuliqu min fadhili tinatina. That is, our Shias have been made with the leftover clay with which we, the Imams, were created. Yafrahuna li farahina. They are happy in our joys. Yahzanuna li huznina. They are sad in our in our griefs. And then Rahimallah Shi'atana. May Allah have mercy on our Shias. Shi'atuna humul mu'minun. They are the believers. Qad aflaha al-mu'minun. Quran says, prosperous are the believers. So this is just a little bit of an introduction of what we are going to talk about. And that is the greatness of the Imams alayhim salam that we have in the Ziyarat. Now, knowing the Imam, ma'rifat of the Imam is a renewal of allegiance. That if I, for example, after my prayers, if I stand and I say, Assalamu alayka ya sahib az-zaman, that is another renewal of that allegiance that I have on my neck towards the Imam. So that is bonding with the Imam. Looking into Quran, the danger of weakness, the danger of a sluggish Iman, Prophet Isa at times he senses that some of his followers may shake. Then he says that Man Ansari, who are my followers? And this has been mentioned twice in Quran. Now the disciples, they say that Man Ansari ilallah, when he says, who are my supporters? They said, قال الحواريون نحن أنصار الله. We are the supporters of Allah. Likewise, we see that on the night of the 10th of Muharram, the night of Ashura, Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, he says that tomorrow all of you will be killed. And if you want to leave, you may leave. I'll put off the light. He turns away the light. And in the dark says, no one will recognize you. No one will know who has left. So leave. I remove that allegiance which is my right, which is on my neck, which is on your neck. I will take it away. And on the day of judgment, you will not be questioned for not being with me. No one left. So that sensation or that feeling was sensed by Prophet Isa, that he says, فَلَمَّا أَحَسَّ Isa minhumul kufr. When Prophet Isa sensed kufr in his followers, قال من أنصاري إلى الله. Who are my supporters to Allah? قال الحواريون نحن أنصار الله. That is, we are your supporters, we are your companions. آمنا بالله. And that is, we have faith in Allah. واشهد بأننا مسلمون. And you also bear this testimony and witness that we are your supporters, we are your believers. So Ziyarat too, it is a renewal of allegiance that we have with the Imam alayhi salam, that we say Silmun liman salamakum. That is, I'm loyal to you. Just Iman is not enough. Just faith is not enough. Many have Iman, many have faith. They don't have loyalty, they don't have wafa. So in a ziyarat, when I say Assalamu alayk ya Aba Abdullah, that's Silmun liman salamakum. That is total compatibility. That is total obedience. Whatever he has said, to take it on board, to add it onto my performance and my a'mal has to be there. So I am loyal to you. That is, that faith in addition to wafa has to be there. Because in Quran, we do have many ayat that have been mentioned, that there were many people, they said Rabbuna Allah, that our Lord is Allah. So faith is there. Faith in the one God is there. Quran says that faith is not enough. After having that faith, after saying Rabbuna Allah, you have to have thumma istaqamu. Thumma istaqamu means being firm, steadfast. Endurance is also important. That is, after having faith in God, being with God, endurance, and then that steadfastness has to be there. Because we have a handful of verses in Quran. It says that that whenever you want, whatever you want, you can find it in Quran. And over here we've got many places where it has mentioned. Because some people, they believed, but then they switched, they turned away. So amanu summa kafaru. So there have been many who had that faith, amanu ثم كفروا, but later they switched, they flipped. So that what is required from us is that Iman has to be there, ثم استقاموا, and then being steadfast on that Iman. So one of the uh, things that helps in being firm and steadfast are these ziyarats. Association with the Imams alayhimus salam, bonding with the Aimma alayhimus salam, that helps us be firm on the path and with that Iman. Because in Quran we've got another ayah that says that people were faithful and then they denied. Amanu summa takhaztumul ajil, because they were faithful, the followers of Prophet Musa. But then later they switched to worshipping and bowing down before the calf. That is summa takhaztumul ajil. Ajil, it's that calf who they bowed before in worship in the absence of Prophet Musa. So Iman was there, but then istiqama, or then being steadfast and firm, that wasn't there. So in Quran we have many examples that have been mentioned that people were good at a time and then they switched and were bad later. In Usul-e-Kafi there is a chapter of hadith that talks about Iman, a temporary Iman or a part-time Iman, mu'arat. So there were people who had a part-time Iman, not a permanent Iman. And then Imam Sadiq there, he mentions an example, says like Zubair. Zubair, who is the Prophet's first cousin, who had magnificent performance and actions, especially during his very young age, at the age of 16. He went on spying on the enemies, giving a very first-hand and important information to the Prophet as what the enemies they are plotting. And he is someone who stood by Amirul Mu'mineen after the demise of Rasulullah in support of Amirul Mu'mineen. But then he also switched. That is, when dunya was there, when the world was there, the beauty and the charm and the funds and money was there, he also turned away. Imam mentions the example of Zubair in the riwayat, that Zubair's Iman wasn't a permanent Iman. It is that Iman that was Ariya, that was short term, or that temporary Iman. Now, when we look into Quran, it is such important that many a times some people, they need to be designated to a certain task. Now, if, for example, Prophet Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam, he says that he introduces himself. He says that you've got a vacancy, you need someone to rule. I can do it. I can take the charge and I can deliver you all to safety. قال اجعلني على خزائن الأرض إني حفيظ عليم. That is, put me in charge of the country's affairs, and I am indeed someone who is Hafiz, who can protect you all, and also well informed, and I can do that task. So vote for me and I can run the country well, Yusuf told to the king of Egypt. So if a person deserves a rank, a designation, sometimes he need to introduce himself, and sometimes others need to introduce him. In this Ziyarat Jame'at al-Kabeera, it is an introduction of imamats by Imam Hadi alayhi salatu wassalam, our 10th Imam, buried in Samarra. So Imam here, he mentions, he talks about the attributes that are there for the Imams alayhi salam. Inshallah, slowly we'll look into and try to understand the ziyarat, so that next time when we pay a visit to Ma'sumin, or even from here, when you want to pay a visit to the Imams or recite the ziyarat, we understand, and with that insight we address the Imams alayhim salam. So Ziyarat Jame'at al-Kabeera, it is from our 10th Imam, and the 10th Imam says that visit the Imams like this. So they know what the rank of the Imams, so he is the best one who can introduce what Imamat is. Says, Assalamu alaikum, Ya Ahla Bayt al-Nubuwwah. Salam be upon you, the Ahlul Bayt of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, that is the household of prophethood. Wa mawdi' al-risala, the center point of prophecy. Wa mukhtalaful malaika, and the place where the angels they frequent. Now all three of these statements that were mentioned over here, they are amazing. There is so much of importance in these three statements, where the third one which was mentioned, that were mukhtalafil malaika, that is where the angels they frequent. Now looking into the creation of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, He has many creations. Among them, the most dignified or the best of the creations of Allah are the angels, made of nur. He's got another creation made of fire, that is jinn, and another creation made of clay, and that is human beings, mankind. Now from all of these three creations, angels are the best of creations. Angels numerous, many, countless, filled in the entire creation of Allah, in the skies, in the earths. Hadith says that when you see these clouds are being carried by the angels. Every drop of rain that drops from the cloud, it is connected and carried by an angel that is instructed by the Almighty Allah and guided where that drop has to drop, where it has to pour down. And many a times you see that there are clouds that are being seen and we think it's going to rain in this spot, but then they are carried away somewhere else and they pour down in another location. Hadith says that because the dwellers of that land are sinners and Allah does not want that rahmah to be poured onto that land, that's why they are pushed away, and many a times they are poured in the seas and oceans. So angels, they are the best of the creation of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And if there is a dua in Sahifa Sajjadiyya, and that is from Imam Sajjad, dua number 3, it's a supplication and calling down the blessings of Allah upon the bearers of the throne, the Hamalat al-Arsh, wa kulli malakin muqarrab, and every near angel. So here in this beautiful dua, Imam he mentions every one of these angels, the major angels, the main ones, sends salawat upon them. And also this should be one of our in our programs, that we also remember the angels, because they are the ones who are providing to us. Mikael, all this rizq that gets to us gets via Mikael alayhi salam. Revelations and messages that were given to all of the prophets via Jibreel alayhi salam. The angel of death, the kindest and one of the most beautiful creations of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, that what we find here. Imam he sends salawat and salutations to all of them. Allahumma wa hamalatu arshik alladhina la yafturuna min tasbihik, and the task that is given to them, it's your glorification and your tasbih, and you filled the entire creation with all your angels, salutations and salams upon them. Israfil, who is the greatest of your angels, and the task assigned to him, it's the blowing of the horn of the day of judgment, and then putting everyone to sleep, and then bringing and reviving them after their death, upon blowing of the second horn. It's Israfil. Mikael, Zuljahi Indak, Jibreel, who is the Amin, and then Ruh, which is greater, who are greater than the angels. All these are the beautiful creations of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So Imam he sends salutations upon them. Now when you look back into the Maqtal and the history of Karbala, there says that on the day of Ashura, 4,000 angels they came down to help Abu Abdullah. He said, no, access denied, I don't want your services, I don't want any of your help. Now these 4,000 angels, when they were denied assistance, when they were returning to the skies, their Allah says that no, stay back there, and by the grave of Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam, you will be there. That is your permanent location. Angels, they frequent to the glorious shrines of Ma'sumin alayhi salam. One of the reasons why we feel different when we enter into the sacred shrines, we feel light, we feel connected, we feel divine, it's because of the presence of angels, and who are the purest and the best of the creation of Allah. There you feel that you are different. Now in the sacred shrines of Ma'sumin, this is the case. All of the angels, they descend upon the Imams and they take instructions from the Imam. And today all of these instructions are taken from Imam al-Asr alayhi salatu wassalam. Tanazzalul malaikatu warruhu fiha. That is, the angels, they descend upon Imam al-Asr. They take instructions from Imam al-Asr. They carry out the instructions that have been given to them. So he dispatches, they carry it out. So angels, they are under the they take guidance and instructions from the Imam. So Imam is on top of everything. That is, وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَحْسَيْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ, as it says in Ziyarat, in Surah Yasin. Everything that you see in this creation, that has been gathered in the Imam. So Imam is the whole sole authority. And here in this beautiful Ziyarat says, وَمُخْتَلَفَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ. That is, angels, they frequent and to you. Now one of the other that is statements that Imam mentions, Imam Hadi mentions for the Imams, that is, O Ahlul Bayt, you are the place where the angels, they frequent, the mine of mercy and the treasure of knowledge. All that knowledge that Allah has created. There is a hadith from Imam Askari alayhi salam. Imam says that ilm is in 73 portions. One portion was given to Asif bin Barkhia, the person, the minister of Prophet Sulaiman, who performed that miraculous task of carrying and bringing the throne of Bilqis from Yemen to Palestine. He had 1 out of 73 portions of that ilm. Says 2 portions were given to Prophet Isa. With that, he performed all those miraculous tasks of giving life to death, of giving sight to the blind, and then hearing to those who were deaf, and all those miraculous tasks were performed by him. He had only 2 out of 73. Prophet Musa was given 5, Prophet Ibrahim was given 10, Prophet Adam was given 25. And then Imam says 72 out of 73 portions of that knowledge has been given to us, the Imams, the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And then 72 out of 73 is with them. And that 1 portion is with Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So the treasurer of
Salam
knowledge.
Maulana, can you please repeat the portion? Can you please repeat the portion?
Yeah, 73 portions of ilm have been created by Allah. 1 was given to Asif bin Barkhia, 2 to Prophet Isa, 5 to Prophet Musa, and then 15 to Prophet Ibrahim, 25 to Prophet Adam, and 72 out of 73 are with the Imams alayhimus salam. So when we say treasurer of knowledge, that is khuzan al-ilm. That is the term used by Imam Hadi in Ziyarat Jame'at Kabeera for the Imams. And the highest degree of patience and the roots of generosity and the leadership of the Ummah and the blessings that come to us through you. So all of that are the Imams alayhimus salam. Now one of the other terms that we have here for the Imams, wasasat al-ibad. That is, you are the policy makers. So policies are defined by the Imams, are made by the Imams. They follow the instructions laid by the Prophet. They are the ones who carry out, and they are the ones who make the policies. And we don't know that people who say that religion is separate from politics, what do they say when they see this sentence? Wasasat al ibad. If imams are the policy makers, then how can deen be different and separate from siyasa? So here in this Ziyarat Jame'at al-Kabeera, in the first few designations or the titles that you have for the imams says wasasat al-ibad. It is they do not accept Imam Hadi, or the Ziyarat is wrong if they see this phrase sasat al-ibad. So you have to determine our policy. With this sentence, many parties must gather their professionalism, and this party that you have created and you are drawing a political line, this is according to the words of Quran and the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Now here in this trip that we were in the Arba'in walk, um, one of the Maulanas who was there, he came and showed this image on one of the Mawakib. It was very big and bold written, and that entrance of all these political people is not allowed in this mawkib. Wasasat al-ibad. To the imams we say, you are the policy makers, and you being a follower of the imam, you're putting such a signboard that those who are political, they cannot enter this mawkib. So it doesn't add up. It contradicts with the ziyarat and the belief system that we have. Now, many a times people say that all these rules that we have in the judiciary system, or in the early days of the Islamic Revolution, the liberals, they came up and they said that retribution is outdated, that an eye for an eye or an ear for an ear, a life for a life that we have in Quran and all that, it is of the past. When these statements were being uttered, there Imam Khomeini rahmatullahi alayhi, he in one of his speeches, when he heard all these statements, he says, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Now when this ayah was recited, it means that religion has passed away with all these silly statements that people they have come up with. So someone who says that this sentence was for that time, that the rules that we have in Islam were for the advent of Islam and not for this year 1400 or 2021, it means that sasat al-ibad, that the imams are the policy makers, or when Rasulullah has said whatever I have made halal is halal abadan and ila yawm al-qiyamah, and whatever I have made haram is haram ila yawm al-qiyamah. Like for example, to understand this in better words, in simple words, if you have two strings, the one which you use for stitching, and you tie a knot with that string, it's strong and you cannot undo it, you cannot untie it, it's difficult, very difficult. But if you have two ropes and then you want to tie a knot with that thick rope, you can tie it and also you can undo it very easily. Now in the olden days, girls and boys, they used to get married earlier at a young age, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now they came up and they said no, 18 should be that legal age of marriage. Now it has increased to 25 and 35 and no one gets married. And then at this age, when they do get married, then chances of separation also they become high, because it's difficult to bond at such an old age with one another. So they are already old people, grown-ups, so being together also becomes difficult. So here, the 1400 years ago, it was the same God, it was the same rule provided by the same God. So now that we are 1500 years after the Prophet, it's again the same rule. So the rules that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has made, or the policies that He has made, they are forever. Yeah, things may change. Then houses were made of huts and then clay. Now they make it with concrete and wood and what. So this material has changed. But human beings, they are the same human beings. The laws, the sa'asat al-ibad that is used over here, In this ziyarat, that remains the same. The creator is the same, the policy is the same, the deen is same, the materials they have changed. So Sasat al-Ibad, policy makers, are the Imams alayhimus salam. Now the role of Imams, you are the Imam of guidance, the lights in the dark. You are the banner of piety. You are the prime example of humanity. You are the station to know God. God's blessings, they pour upon you and you distribute them to others. You are the mine of wisdom. Everything is in your hands. The secret of God's, the, the secret and the sir of the Almighty Allah is in your hands. You have it. The book of God is in your hands. Now, when we see the Imams have been addressed and introduced by Imam Hadi as such, and then he starts praising and glorifying them. Antum Rashidun, Mahdiyun, Ma'sumun. Rashidun means you are the special ones. Mahdiyun means you are the guides. Ma'sumun, the infallible. Mukarramun, the exalted, the generous. Muqarrabun, the near ones. Muttaqun, the God-wary. Sadiqun, the trustworthy, the truthful. Qawwamun, Qawwamun, by whom everything is steadfast and firm. Amilun, Faizun, those who are prosperous and those who are practicing. Now, one of the other statements that we have in the same Ziyarat Jame'at al-Kabeera says, وَبِكُمْ يُمْسِكُ السَّمَاءَ أَن تَقَعَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ. Now, by you, it is you who are holding back the sky from falling onto the earth. Now, understanding and digesting this statement is a little bit difficult. That how come the Imams, they are holding back the skies from falling down? We don't have any might. We don't have any ability. These small eyelids that I have, when I feel drowsy and I'm tired, they fall apart. They fall down. I cannot control them. And the weight of these two eyelids may not be even a few grams, less than grams. This little eyelid, I cannot hold on to it. When I'm sleepy, it just falls down. Says, Bikum yumsikus sama. That is, by you. That is, you, the Imams, are keeping back the sky from falling onto the earth. Now that is the sky. Now the size of the sky, no one knows. How many skies are there? 7. Distance between the first and the second, we don't know. All what we see is the first sky. Beyond that, the second to the seventh, all that is beyond our understanding. We don't know anything about that. All of that is being held by you, the Imams. Bikum yumsikus sama an taqa'a alal ard. That is, you kept the celestial spheres, heavenly planets are all held back and in their positions. It is you, the Imams, who are holding it back. Otherwise, everything will fall apart. So, Imams, they've got that high designation. Now, when we look into these statements in this ziyarat, this question comes to your mind. That if they have got that much of a power, they have got that much of a might, then why on the day of Ashura, Imam Hussein, he could have performed a miracle and then got some water and not died of thirst? He could have performed a miracle. That arrow that was shot to Ali Asghar changed into a cotton bud so that he was not hit. Or that iron rod that hit the head of Abul Fazl Abbas alayhi salam would have changed into something soft and he also was saved. So these questions may come to one's mind. So if someone has that much of a might and strength and power, and all those miracles can be performed, and all that ilm has been given to them, then why did they not do it? Here, when we see these abilities that are given to the Imams, for example, a policeman. A policeman, he's got a few tools with him. It has uh, he has to have them, like handcuffs and a gun and the car that he drives. But then he's not allowed to use them, uh, but based upon the law and the criteria, the orders that have been given to them. Imams also are like that. Allah has given them ilm, Allah has given them miracles, Allah has given them all of these qualities and abilities, but then using them for their personal on their personal levels, that is not allowed. They have knowledge, that knowledge cannot be used for their own selves. That miracle cannot be performed. Like for example, Hazrat Fizza alayha salam, when she sees the situation in the house of Amirul Mu'mineen and Zahra, that they are hand to mouth, struggling, finances are low, and children are there, and there's nothing in the house, she quickly goes and mixes and makes a bit of gold and gives it to Amirul Mu'mineen, says that go and sell this and you can get some money and you can get some grocery with that gold. Imam says, Fizza, we don't need that. And then he points at the earth and the entire whatever that place was, it changed into gold. Says we can do more than that, but we are not allowed to do that for ourselves. So Imams, they have all that, but they cannot do that for themselves. Or like for example, when we look back into the incidents that unfold in Karbala, with the Ma'asumin alayhim salam, we see that Amirul Mu'mineen, when he is given a designation, an authority, a rank by Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, why is it? Now, one of the statements that we have in the same Ziyarat Jame'at al-Kabeera, we say that irtadakum li ghayrih wa ikhtarakum li sirrih, that Allah, He has chosen you, the Imams, li sirrih, for His secrets. Why has Allah chosen them? I can say that, why did He not choose me? You will say that, why did He not choose you? وَاجْتَبَاكُمْ بِقُدْرَتِهِ, and Allah, He has selected them by His might. وَأَعَزَّكُمْ بِهُدَاهِ, and Allah has dignified you, and Allah has strengthened you by His guidance, through His guidance. Why? Now, if He has given these designations and these mights and abilities to the Imams, is it just like that? Or there is something else in return He has taken from them? We get help from Dua Nutba. If you recall the first few sentences of Dua Nutba, there says that وَشَرَطَّ عَلَيْهِمُ الزُّهُدِ, that Allah, He has conditioned zuhud and piety upon the Imams. He has made it mandatory, and that is a condition of Imamat, that they have to be pious, that zuhd has to be there in them. For example, Imam Rida alayhi salam, with all that might, with all that wealth and that designation as a crown prince that he has, but still he has to sit on a mat, sleep on a mat, not on those lavish beds. Imam Musa ibn Ja'far alayhi salatu wassalam, Allah has given him that qudrat, that ilm, the miracles, that infallibility, but then at the same time He said that you have to be in the prisons. Your test is to be in the prisons. وَشَرَطَّ عَلَيْهِمُ الزُّهُدِ, شَرَطَّ عَلَيْهِمْ, that Allah has made it a condition upon them, that this is what you have to do and this is what you get. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, on the day of Ashura, says to him that you will have to sacrifice yourself and you will have to go under the hooves of those horses. Your body has to be crushed and pounded. Sharatta alayhim, that is what Allah has conditioned upon them. Or Imam Baqir alayhi salam, or Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, to them He says that here, this is what is being given to you. But then in the masjid, you will sit. The Jummah prayer leaders appointed by Muawiyah, Lanatullahi alayh, they will in their sermons swear at your grandfather, Amir al-Mu'mineen, and you will have to sit and listen to them. So all that is difficult, very difficult, that someone is swearing at your parents, at your grandfather, at your family, and openly in public, and that lan and tan is being done by them. An imam has to sit there and listen. That is that sabr, that is that patience. And then says sharatta alayhim, that is the condition that Allah has conditioned upon them, and in return He's given so much to them. And then in this dua nujba we say وَعَلِمْتَ مِنْهُمُ الْوَفَاء, and then he knew that you are loyal to them, to him, to the Almighty. And because your loyalty was known to the Almighty Allah, فَقَبِلْتَهُمْ, Allah accepted them. قَرَّبْتَهُمْ, and Allah, He brought them close to Him. And then وَقَدَّمْتَ لَهُمْ, and then Allah, He gave them that high rank, that excellence was given to them because they passed their test. That is, Iman was there, ثُمَّ اسْتَقَامُوا, that being firm was also there, that steadfastness was there. Ilm was given to them, Qudrat was given to them, infallibility was given to them, miracles were given to them. وَعَلِمْتَ مِنْهُمْ, and he knew that they will take it and they will deliver it safely and to the destinations. So these are some of the statements that we have in the Ziyarat Jame'at al-Kabeera, and today was just an introduction, and inshallah from next week we will start from the first phrase of Ziyarat Jame'ah and continue and try to understand what Imams have mentioned, and may Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala help us understand and also apply the concept of Imamat on ourselves and be one of the sincere servants of the A'imma alayhim salam. وسبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.